Hi, are you considering making a move from Ontario to Alberta, but not sure about the costs in Alberta in 2024? Hey everybody, my name is Leanna Martens. I'm a local Edmonton real estate agent. In this video, we are going to compare all the costs from Ontario and Alberta to see if this is the right move for you. Make sure you watch all the way through because we are going to go through not only real estate costs, utility costs, tax costs, food costs, and all other quality of life factors that will help you make a decision about the right choice for you and your family and avoid making a mistake that you might regret forever. Hey, if you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. And if you're considering a relocation, make sure that you reach out to me and my team because that's exactly what we specialize in. We make this overwhelming move easy. So, without any further ado, let's get into the comparison between Ontario and Alberta. So let's start with the cost of living. We are going to start with food costs, rent, gas, and utilities. So let's start off with food. Out of all Canadian cities and inflationary costs in 2023, generally Edmonton and Calgary had higher costs, and the percentage was between 5 and 7%. There are a few tricks that locals use to get around this higher inflationary grocery costs, and that's by shopping at low-cost retailers like Walmart, Freshco, Giant Tiger, and the like. Now, let's talk about real estate. In particular, we're going to talk about rent. So this is one of the largest costs that anybody has because we all have to have a roof over our heads. Now, when comparing the average cost for rent for a family of four in Alberta, the average cost is about $1,463. Now, when you take that to Ontario for the average family of four rental cost, it is $2,108. That is a really huge discrepancy, and it chews up a large portion of disposable income. Now, getting to gas. Given that Alberta is one of the largest producers and refiners of gasoline, that will naturally keep gas costs lower in the province of Alberta. So the average cost for 1 liter of gasoline in Alberta is about $1.37 right now in 2024 when I'm filming this. So this is April of 2024. Now the average cost overall in Ontario is about $1.45 per liter of gas. Let's talk utilities now. So since 2022, inflation has been hitting us all, and in particular in Alberta, the utility costs have risen quite a bit. The average cost for utilities in Alberta is $209 a month, and the truth is my utilities are more than that. I would venture to say that our local utilities are going to be at least $300 or more, and in Ontario it's $161. Now, let's talk real estate. Previously, I mentioned rent in the cost of living section, but real estate purchase price really is one of the most significant driving factors in a province like Ontario that might be having people like you consider moving to Alberta in our province. So right now in 2024, the average price for a single-family detached home in Alberta is $446,919. Now, when you compare that to the average price in Ontario overall of $853,000, that, my friends, is a staggering difference. If you were purchasing in one of the largest centers in Ontario, let's say Toronto, for example, the average price for a single-family detached home is $1,062,000. So that really makes home ownership completely out of reach for so many educated, professional, middle-class people. That is what's having people consider perhaps relocating because the costs are just unmanageable. Tax rates. Let's talk Canadian Uncle Sam, shall we? So Alberta is known out of all of the provinces across Canada to have one of the most appealing and lowest tax rates around. One thing that you can look forward to when purchasing real estate, for example, in Alberta, is that we don't have a land transfer tax when buying or selling real estate, which really can be significant when making these large purchases. In addition, we only have goods and services tax, which is GST. We in Alberta do not have PST. So your average tax on goods and services was about 5%. You thought that was good? In Alberta, we also do not have a gasoline or fuel tax. You heard that right. So in a province like Ontario, they now have blended all of the tax into one individual harmonized tax of 13%, where in Alberta it is 5%. That's a significant difference of 8%. And when you're paying that on everything, it substantially adds up. So whenever comparing two different places to live, obviously your job opportunities are one of the most important things that are going to help you make up your mind and a decision about where you should live. So the local Alberta economy. Obviously, one of the biggest drivers for Alberta's economy is our oil and gas sector. As of 2023, moving into 2024, our exports have increased. And that's not only oil and gas. Our agricultural industry has seen rises and strengthening too. Not only that, Alberta remains a leader in professional, technical, and scientific fields. And the jobs with the highest growth are registered nurse, physician, heavy equipment operator, software developer, food and beverage server, and driver. And one of the most important indicators to look at the strength of a local economy is the unemployment rate. So in Alberta in 2024, the current unemployment rate is sitting at 6%. Now, Ontario's major economic drivers are crude oil, natural gas, wheat, and motor vehicle parts and shipments. Recently, there has been a decline in the motor vehicle parts and shipments sector. Jobs in greatest demand in Ontario right now are university profs, senior government managers, vet techs, and community service workers. IT analysis, software engineers, and educational counselors are also in demand in Ontario. So that brings us to Ontario's current unemployment rate of 6.2, so just slightly above Alberta's in 2024. Let's compare the educational system between Ontario and Alberta. Now, Ontario actually, according to QS University Ranking System, has Canada's #1 university, which is University of Ontario. Now, University of Edmonton comes in at 5th, and then University of Calgary comes in at 10th. There's a huge population discrepancy between Ontario, that is densely populated at 14.5 million, and Alberta, which is really only populated at about 4 million. And as a result of the population demand, you'll see an equal infrastructure for education in the schooling system. So in Ontario, in terms of amount of schooling and diversity of options, it beats Alberta all day long. There's 23 colleges and over 200 private registered colleges. Alberta, on the other hand, only has 8 public universities and 7 private colleges. Weather. What's the difference between Ontario's weather and Alberta's? Well, Ontario's doesn't get quite as cold. However, the difference that you'll experience is if you are on the coastal areas in Ontario, you will experience a slightly wetter, deeper sense of cold, where living in Alberta, Alberta's winters tend to be slightly colder. We have an average lower temperature throughout the winter, and it tends to be drier. So the experience of the cold is different, but relatively comparable overall. Average income. So when comparing these two provinces, is really important to look at the average income, because you're comparing that also with the cost of living. So the average income in a province like Ontario is $80,332. And in Alberta, it's $80,449. So very, very, very similar. So then what's really going to make the deciding factor is going to be your cost of living. Because if you're making the same in both provinces and you come over and all of a sudden your overall cost of living is 15%, 25%, 35% less, that's really when you start to gain an advantage and have much more money in your pocketbook every month and every year to put towards a greater quality of life and security for you and your family moving forward. Now for the final comparable metric, which is the quality of life index. When you're comparing Ontario to Alberta, Alberta wins out with a higher quality of life due to three primary factors: an abundance of green space, a lower cost of living, and abundant job opportunities. So let's recap the 7 areas that we compared between Ontario and Alberta. First, cost of living, tax rates, real estate, job opportunities, education system, weather, and finally, the quality of life. So where did we end up with all 7 of those factors? First, the cost of living is Alberta, the winner. Second, tax rates, again, Alberta is the winner. Third, real estate. Obviously, Alberta was the winner there. 4, job opportunities. Again, Alberta is the winner. 5, the education system. Ontario, hands down, beat Alberta there. 6, the weather. Well, the weather overall was pretty much tied. Both are cold in a different way. One is wet cold, one is dry cold. And then the 7th was quality of life, and we have a winner, which is Alberta. So out of 7 comparable metrics, it looks like Alberta has won 5. So thanks for watching this video. I really hope that it brought you value and helped educate you about this big decision. If you are considering a relocation and you want some help and you want to get rid of the overwhelm and make this move easy, reach out to me and my team. That's exactly what we do. Phone call, email, text, reach out, and we will respond right away. Subscribe if you are new to my channel for more awesome information just like this. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.